Are you eating enough protein for fat loss? Enough protein? Why, most people get it totally wrong. So what if I told you that the secret to fat loss, to youthful skin, avoiding Alzheimer's and surviving past 50 with functioning knees wasn't green juice or sea moss gel, but protein? Yep. The thing the thing we're told to fear because it's bad for our kidneys or it makes us bulky or you can only absorb 30 grams a day. Today I'm going to dive into the research of Dr. Donald Layman, who is the original gangster protein wizard. And I'm going to tell you why. That beans are sadly not a substitute for beef, and I'm super sorry to all the vegans and vegetarians because you're not going to like this. At best, they're a better choice than rice or potatoes, but that's only if they don't bloat you up like a barrage balloon like they did to me. OMAD might be ruining your metabolism. That's one meal a day. And why the timing, the type, and the amount of protein that you eat matters way, way more than you think. For those of you who may not have come across my channel before, my name's Emma Voysey and I'm a health coach. And I'm all about giving you the tools and the understanding to reclaim your health at any age. That's reversing disease, reversing chronic conditions, eating right, eating the fuel that we were meant to eat, fueling our bodies the right way to gain maximum energy, to reduce negative feelings and bad thoughts and even depression, and to do it all in a non-chemical, non-medical invasive way, to do it all naturally. Just like I did. I reversed all my conditions and I'm feeling better now at age 56 than I did, genuinely, honestly, than I did when I was 26. Where's your ball gone? Oh, honestly, I spend as much time looking for this ball as you do. We've hardly even got up the mountain yet, Mikey. How are we ever going to find it here? So most people aren't eating nearly enough protein, and that's especially women. So according to the latest dietary guidelines data, 45% of Americans, that's nearly half of you, and I guess it's a similar amount for the other Western nations, are eating below the already way too low recommended amounts for daily protein levels. Bear in mind that those RDAs were set after the Second World War when there were food shortages, and they were the levels of protein was set as an amount that would get men to the front to fight and enable everybody who's left behind to survive and keep the country going on very little food. So if you're a woman over 60, nearly half of you aren't even getting near the bare minimum. Dr. Layman breaks it down like this. Older women prefer carbs over protein because of taste and habit, and young women are skipping protein because of body image myths or this push for plant-based eating. And Dr. Layman says protein needs actually increase. They go up as we age, while our calorie needs decrease. So you have to eat less calories, but eat more protein as you age. And most of us are doing the opposite. You think eating steak and chicken over crackers. What is protein actually doing in the body? So here's where it gets really juicy. Your body replaces around 300 grams of protein every day, even if you're not growing and you're not hitting the gym. So even if you're just lying down in a coma or you're asleep all day, you still need 300 grams of protein to be replaced each day. And that's because every tissue, every enzyme, every red blood cell has a shelf life. Some proteins last for an hour, others last for weeks, but they all have to be rebuilt. All right, Mike's, come on, big kick. Oh, it's really not taking much notice of the ball today. It snowed last night, so look at the snow on the trees over there. You just see a dusting and much more up towards the ski area. So it's quite chilly, but it's a beautiful day. I'll just carry the ball. So muscle proteins, they are replaced every 15 to 20 days. Red blood cells every 30 days. Your gut lining and your enzymes, that's in constant turnover. So if you're not getting enough high quality amino acids, your body can't keep up. Your skin gets dull, your nails will start breaking, your hair thins, muscles weaken, joints ache, focus slips, brain fog becomes an annoyingly daily occurrence, and your aging speeds up. RDA, which might as well stand for ridiculously depleted amounts for adults. What it actually stands for is recommended daily allowance or dietary allowance for protein, and this is the government levels. Same in the UK as it is in America. It's around 0.8 grams per kilo of body weight. That's less than half a gram per pound of ideal body weight. But that was based on young, healthy men eating dairy, and those levels were set back around the time of the Second World War, when obviously there were food shortages, and the ideal protein amount was enough protein to enable men to get to the front and fight for their country, and all of us that were left behind, I say us, I wasn't actually born then, but all the people who were left behind it was enough protein to enable them to continue running the country in the absence of all the working men. So now, today, Dr. Layman, he's a protein research wizard, remember, and most serious other researchers recommend 1.2 grams to 1.8 grams of protein per kilo of body weight, which averages out at around 1 gram per pound of ideal body weight. So that's in pounds and in kilos. And I'll put this in the notes because you need to know this stuff. And so that's around 100 to 120 grams per day for most women, and up to 140 to 160 grams for men. Now, if you're trying to lose fat, you're trying to prevent muscle loss, you're trying to prevent sarcopenia as you age, that's muscle loss, bone wastage, bone density depletion, all of those things in our body require protein to be built. So if you're trying to prevent those things and you want to age gracefully, you need to be on the upper end of that scale. Dr. Layman says that women in weight loss studies lose all the benefit of protein if they drop below a threshold of 90 to 100 grams per day of protein intake. So there's that threshold. You go below it and things start to fall apart. Leucine, the amino acid your muscles worship. Here's our star player, leucine. This essential amino acid flips the build muscle now switch via a pathway called mTOR. And I'm not going to get too scientific, but just in very simple terms, Dr. Layman's work shows we need around 2.5 to 3 grams of leucine per meal to turn on this muscle protein synthesis. And that's only going to happen if you get 30 to 40 grams of high quality protein, think beef, fish, eggs, whey. You're not 20 anymore because age makes this switch harder to flip. So those dainty 10-gram protein breakfasts, absolutely useless. 2 boiled eggs and toast soldiers, think again. You can do better than that. Dr. Layman recommends front-loading your day with protein because a 40-gram minimum at your breakfast is super necessary because muscle is being broken down all night. You've got to stop the catabolic breakdown as soon as possible. Now, you don't have to eat the moment you wake up. Eating a couple of hours after waking up is absolutely fine as a habit, but do make sure that when you do break your fast, you break it with good amounts of protein. So make sure that first meal is a sustaining one. Throw away the cornflakes because honestly, there's more nutrition in the cardboard box. And instead of thinking overnight oats or a green smoothie, think about something with some decent amounts of protein in it that's going to help your body to flip that mTOR switch and to make up for what you've lost whilst you were sleeping. Meal timing plus distribution matters after 30. If you're under 30, protein total per day is the big deal. And if you're over 30, when and how you eat it starts to matter as well. Why is this? So your hormones, as you get older, are no longer doing the heavy lifting. It's now all about diet quality, and that's going to drive muscle repair and bone repair and cell turnover. So Layman's study showed that people who ate the same total protein per day, but they put 40 grams into meal one instead of just into their dinner, saw better muscle retention and better fat loss, which is great, right? Fat loss, weight loss being the aim for lots of people. Dr. Layman's also not a fan of OMAD, which is 1 meal per day, 1 meal a day, especially for the older adults, because you just get that one anabolic window and then 22 hours of catabolic breakdown. So, or more, depending on how fast you eat that meal, I guess. And he thinks that really isn't smart. So it works for some people swear by it. I prefer to spread my meals out over a larger portion of the day. And I also find it really hard to eat 130 grams of protein, 130 being my ideal body weight in pounds. I find that really hard to do in one meal, so I prefer to eat 2 meals or 2.5 meals. Number 1, too much protein damages your kidneys. No, it does not. High protein diets improve kidney filtration in healthy people. The myth comes from people who already have kidney disease. Here's another one. Protein turns into fat. Not unless you're eating massive, massive amounts, which no one does. Most women struggle to hit their 100, even 100 grams a day. Try eating a steak with 300 grams of protein in it. Good luck. It's a lot of food to get down you. Meat causes heart disease. Most of that data is epidemiology, which means it's based on people's comments, people's comments answered in surveys rather than actual scientific data. And it's based on people eating things like McDonald's burgers with fries and milkshakes, and then the burgers get the blame. If you remove the junk, the meat is fine. And another one I saw on terrestrial TV in the UK this morning. This was a doctor talking about the dangers of following a carnivore or a meat-based diet. And one of his points was because meat has a lot of salt in it. Red meat contains very, very low quantities of sodium naturally. Again, there's only going to be salt in red meat if it's processed, highly processed, or it's eaten with other junk food, like for example, salami on a pizza. That's going to have high salt. It's one of those days. Hat on, hat off. Don't know where I am. Protein for fat loss, the ultimate hack. Protein isn't just for muscle, it's your best fat loss ally. It's thermogenic, which means that you burn 15 to 20% of the calories from protein just by digesting it, compared with only 5% for carbs and fat. It's satiating. Hi, Mike. It's satiating. That means it keeps you full for hours. When I eat a good protein meal, I'm honestly full for 5 or 6 hours before I start thinking I need to start eating again. It preserves muscle loss whilst you lose body fat, which is what you want. You don't want to lose muscle. You want to burn fat. You don't want to lose weight. And add in resistance training and you retain even more muscle. Dr. Layman's research shows us that high protein breakfasts increase fat loss by around 300, this is an average of 300 calories per day. That's really huge. Same total calories, different results. It's about the metabolic edge. All calories are not created equal. Plant proteins. Nice try. Yes, you can do a plant-based diet. Plenty of people survive eating only plants, eating a vegan or a vegetarian diet. But the kind of clue here is, for me, is in the word survive. I don't want to just survive. I want to live optimally. Plant proteins have a lower bioavailability. That means your body can't absorb all the nutrients that are in those plants, so you have to eat a lot more of them. You need to eat a lot more to hit the same targets, because many plants are deficient in the essential amino acids which we need for growth and renewal. So Dr. Layman says beans are a great substitute for French fries, but not beef. Big difference. If you're a vegetarian, you must get at least one meal per day with 40 grams or more of high quality protein in it, or you're going to risk losing muscle mass and accelerating aging. And losing muscle mass as we age, as I've already said, it's called sarcopenia. And the other thing you're going to lose is bone mass. And bone mass loss as we age is osteoporosis or brittle bone disease. And that's really, really not pretty. I mean, people blame bone degeneration just on aging, but I mean, I've proven it for myself with how I've improved my knees. Since I started increasing my protein levels and eating enough protein every day, and I've only been doing this now for just over a year, I no longer have painful knees. I no longer have creaky, hurty knees. And my knees have taken some serious damage over the years. I've had some really, really bad accidents affecting my knees, from skiing and from accidents related to horses. So you can not only improve the way you feel, but you can reverse conditions. And the same goes for arthritis. People who follow a diet with enough protein in it talk about how their arthritis and their rheumatism has just disappeared. That's amazing, just from eating enough protein. Best sources of protein. So beef is probably your richest source of protein, especially ribeye if you can afford it, but minced beef or ground beef's excellent too. Liver's a good source, but you only want to be eating it once or maximum twice a week because it's very, very high, very, very rich in vitamins like vitamin A, and you can overdose on those. You know, liver, think of it, there's one tiny small liver in a huge 500 to 1,000 pound animal. So, you know, eat it in small quantities. Chicken thighs are the richest area of protein in the whole body of a chicken because they're the darker meat. And turkey. Turkey's also an excellent source of protein. Oh, there you are. And pork, if you can find good quality pork. I don't like eating factory farmed meats. I always look for grass-fed or grass-finished meat because not only is it more nutrient dense, but it has had a better life, and that does matter to me. And I do look for animals that have at least lived as naturally as they possibly can whilst they were alive, eating their natural diet. Because whatever the animal ate, we're eating that too. It's what the meat is made of. So it's worth thinking about. Fish, obviously an excellent source of protein. You are going to need more of it than if you're eating meat. And the small fish that have been in the sea for less time, like sardines and mackerel, small oily fish, tend to be better for us just because they've been in the sea for less time. The really big fish, like the swordfish and the tuna, they tend to be ingesting, now we have a helicopter, they tend to ingest a lot more microplastics and pollution from the sea, unfortunately. That's because of what we've done to the sea. I think I might just get away with it. Eggs, nutrient dense and cheap. Cheese, and again, eggs, I always look for free range and organic if you can afford them. Cheese and full fat dairy if you can tolerate dairy. For some people, dairy is an absolute no-no, but if you can, it's a good source of protein. Whey protein, especially post-workout or added to your breakfast. And Dr. Layman even helped to develop, this is in the USA, a protein-fortified Greek yogurt, which is now a staple, sold in many supermarkets throughout the US because of his work. Here's a budget tip. Swapping out chips and crisps and bread and processed junk for protein actually saves you money over time, and you're going to feel and look 100% better. Fasting and protein, especially if you are over 40. Dr. Layman does not recommend prolonged fasting over 36 hours for anyone over 40. So why is this? Now, this was an eye-opener for me because I have undertaken longer fasts. I just finished a 48-hour fast yesterday afternoon, and I feel really good on them. I'm postmenopausal, which means that I don't have a cycle anymore. So unlike younger women, I don't have to worry about where I am in my cycle before I start a fast. More on that in another video. But meanwhile, every time you fast, your body breaks down muscle, and as you age, that muscle does not come back very easily. This is called a catabolic crisis. And you also easily are going to, it's very muddy here. I think this is a bike track, actually. You will also lose muscle fast if you are sick or ill, if you suffer an injury, or you're on bed rest, or you're fasting. And it's often permanent. So that is something to be wary of. And it means even more, if you do like fasting as I do, it means even more that you need to be mindful that when you are not fasting, you are feasting and getting enough protein into your body. Dr. Layman is fine with time-restricted eating, like 11 a.m. to 7 p.m, but he insists that your first meal needs to be protein-rich, around 40 grams, as I've already said, to stop that overnight muscle breakdown. And if you're like me and you're a big fan of fasting, then rest assured 24 to 36 hours will still put you into ketosis, and it will still activate autophagy, which is what the body self-eating, so eating up all that unwanted flesh, as in loose skin if you've lost a lot of weight like I did, or wrinkles. Great, hey? Everybody wants to lose wrinkles. And it will still repair and reset your gut. So 24 to 36 hours being the optimum amount of time. But this is up for debate because there are many other experts out there who will advocate fasting for longer than this. I mean, for example, Dr. Sean O'Mara, who's the world's leading visceral fat specialist, he does his fasts for 3 days a week, every week. And I'm not seeing him suffering any muscle loss or breakdown. So it's, I guess, horses for courses. Listen, protein isn't just a macronutrient. It's your literal building block for aging well. It preserves your muscle, it preserves your skeleton, it supports your brain, and it literally shapes your body. And most of us just aren't eating enough. So forget the fear-mongering, forget the outdated RDAs, and please, for the love of your metabolism, stop skipping your breakfast. Eat your steak, eat your eggs, maybe throw in a whey protein shake if you're in a rush or you just want some extra protein, but abandon those green smoothies and the plant-based meals, which are just not giving you enough nutrition. If you want to age powerfully, lose fat and stay sharp, then make protein your best friend. So I hope this has helped you. If it's helped you, please share it with someone you love and subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps me to build my channel. And give me a like and comment. Tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'd love to hear from you. I do read all the comments. And I've got more videos like this coming every single week. And if you are interested in receiving a weekly newsletter with more information that I don't share anywhere else, there's a link in the description to subscribe to my email newsletter. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you'd like to watch either of these two next, they might also interest you. Until next time, keep it simple, stay strong and nourish, don't punish. Cheerio and bye for now.